No, not yet.
Yes. I thought you were just going to like do it as we're in the middle of a conversation and just
Well,
like
I would
surprise
have,
us.
but
You're now
Phoenix was in the
informing us
middle
we're going to go
of some
live.
stuff.
Where's wait, Jamie's not back yet. Unless she is there and she just muted her mic.
No, she was clickety clacking.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry,
enough. Fair enough.
All right.
No, Jamie's here. We're all here. We are
And
now
we
live.
are
So,
live.
hello. Welcome to Social Justice Alchemy.
Yes, welcome back to the Alchemy Bench. Joining us today, we have Jonathan.
Hello there.
Okay. And we have Tom. And we have Jamie.
Hey.
And Phoenix.
Hello, beautiful beings.
And no Julie. She is off fighting the Fash. Smashing the fuck out of them.
She's in the live chat.
Let's go with
Is in the
that.
chat. Okay. The semester is over. I still have a little bit of grading to do, but not too much.
Is
Had to
it?
pull a,
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what where you teach. Do you teach at a college?
yes, community college, and
Oh, yeah, because colleges in my state they're not off until the first the second week of May.
it's all over the place, and probably not made any simpler due to the coronavirus shutdown.
The lovely virus.
Yeah. But, the thing is over. I pulled a marathon of grading Thursday night / Friday morning. Then drove down to the school to pick up some more papers so I can keep on doing the grading stuff. And, oof, that's when I discovered that my car's AC is out once again.
Bummer.
Yeah. So that was a fun drive. In any event, I am a little bit more out of it than normal, I think. And no fishy fashy. I was just boomed yesterday.
That's fine.
No, it's not. They should always
You're
be fishy
you.
fashy.
Oh my goodness, shit again.
Isn't it enough to realize that fascists are always going to say stupid and or evil things? Just realize maybe it doesn't matter that much which things are real and which ones aren't.
But the point is to have a fun game.
That's what I have my phone for. I play fun games on my phone. I'm building a very beautiful farm.
Stardew Valley? No, wait. Animal Crossing?
Farmville. It's a seaside. I think it's called Seaside Family Farm. It's an Android game. I'm playing that, and I'm also playing BitLife. And currently, my character in BitLife is
Nope, there's Sasha.
Mm-hmm.
Is a gay marijuana farmer who lives in Sweden.
So, David Skog.
With David, yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Well, we don't know. I don't know what David does, so it could well be.
Maybe, yeah, he probably farms marijuana.
I'd buy it. I've seen his
We
video.
all know what David does. He just trolls us.
No, trolls are Norwegian.
Wait, are there any trolls from Finland?
Possibly. I don't know.
I don't know.
David Skog.
How about
Well, yes. No, well, he's from the other part of Scandinavia, the other side of it.
how about
Sweden?
how about the Netherlands? I know that's not technically Scandinavian, but pot is legal there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but can they grow it there? They're underwater. They're technically ice.
It reminds me of a book I'm writing in my head. I should actually put one of these books on paper. except it takes place in a future Louisiana that's partially underwater because of sea level rise.
Interesting.
That's the thing, though. I have the setting, I just don't have a story within the setting.
I know some people who are just like so fascinated by the world building, they just do all the world building, and sometimes I hear it and I patiently listen to them, so that like, yeah, that sounds interesting. Yeah, that sounds interesting. And part of me is just like going, okay, when are you going to write a story about it? But I just know that some people are just more fascinated with world building as opposed to telling the story. So,
All stories need some level of world building. Just it doesn't make a story, but it's a crucial part of a story.
mm-hmm.
And then there's people who only build the world and never actually write an interesting story, like Tolkien.
Yes, spending a whole chapter describing the trees.
Are they nice trees?
They are nice trees, lovely trees. Even the trees walk in those movies, those books.
Except for the evil trees.
Are there evil trees in
Yeah,
Tolkien?
there were evil trees. That was they were burned to make the
Uruk-hai?
elves into Uruk-hai or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The elves crossbreeding with orcs, yes.
What would the children look like?
That's a good question.
They looked like Uruk-hai.
They're Uruk-hai, yeah.
That's right. They were just like born as like adults, ready to
Yeah.
fight.
Okay,
It
fair enough.
was they were elves who had been corrupted as adults into Uruk-hai.
That is fair enough.
So they were the high-class orcs.
Mm-hmm. Well, they were different kind of orcs, basically.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they were of the orc kind. But
There must be unity amongst the orc kind.
Unity among orc tube.
Oh man, all the time spent on like orc unity.
Yeah.
When there's irreconcilable sectarian differences between them.
And also, let's forget all the orc scolds who are committing the horrible crime of holding the other orcs to their actions. God, this metaphor is confused.
That's right. That's right, Nick on the Planet Ripple. It was placenta pile in the movies. That's right. It was on mud
Wait.
placentas.
Wait, what? Lord.
It was an interesting way to depict it in the movies, which I still like. The Hobbits are not that good in movies. First
They're
one's
taking
okay.
the hobbits to Isengard.
Mm. So, Tom, you have some like venting you want to do about some people you interact with on Facebook that are of the conservative like political leaning.
Right now, I don't have the energy to get really ranty. I'm one of these people that I don't tend to cut people off for political or for just political issues. If there's a moral, major moral issue, then yeah, possibly, but just disagreeing with me politically, I put up with it, and that's adds strain because it would be so much easier to just say "fuck you, go away," and I don't have to deal with you. But I'm not really built that way. I've always been
Midwestern.
okay, Midwestern and Episcopalian, so we are, we're pretty tolerant of a lot of stuff. But it grates on me, especially when I see day after day after day of this idiot in charge of my country doing completely insane things, insane/evil things.
Yeah.
And then I get these people that apologize. They're apologists for him, and when there are people that I care about or people that I have, a long history with and other, other matters that I don't want to, just get rid of. It's there's a lot of internal tension there, and it's easier just to yell in my head. And I was yelling in my head quite a bit when I typed it, when I wrote that on the whatever the fuck.
Messenger, our private chat.
There you go. And I'm just right now I'm just kind of exhausted of the whole thing. And the one thing that I think is the thing that's bothersome, I think, for me, for these people, is that they are the two people that I sort of illustrated. One is a relative of mine, and the problem with her is that she won't read anything that doesn't support her side. And I can't read, I can't read just one side of anything. I have to kind of get a rounded view. And so when I post something and she has an argument against it or a meme against it, and I say, I post something that shows where she's wrong about that, or where there's another point of view. And I say, will you read this? And she says, no, I won't read that. All it's going to be is another point of view. And it's like assholes. Everybody has one. Everybody has an opinion. And each person's opinion is equal to everyone else's, except, of course, mine, which is the right one. So, and the other guy is kind of similar, except he does a lot of research, but he does it from a point of view. He's a contrarian, and so he always does it from the point of view that what the mainstream is saying, or what the logic, what the mainstream scientific or social or political position is wrong, and he has to find ways to jigger the system so that he is right. And he does that for climate change and pollution and all kinds of other stuff. And it just drives me nuts. So he will listen to what I have to say, but he will do the same thing my cousin does, which is, well, I have my opinion and I have my background, and that backing my research, and that to me is more important than anything you have to say, because I've decided ahead of time you're wrong. So it's like I say, it'd be a lot easier if I could just cut these people off, but I'm a Midwestern Episcopalian, as John so adroitly
pointed out.
yammered.
You
yammered it. You nattered at me, and that's actually quite right. So anyway, and then but the one thing I think is I'm casting about for good things, for the slightest life raft of salvation from this idiot that we have running us. And I think the injecting bleach and directing sunlight to the interior parts of the human body might be the beginning of some more people, maybe a lot more people thinking that thinking that the 25th Amendment is there for a reason. And that maybe the people around him ought to take this information and do something with it other than wipe their asses. Anyway, so that's I have a slight bit of hope that I don't think that the people around him are going to do that. I think maybe a lot of the people in the country are at the point where they look at that and say, that's fucking insane, and he was not kidding. He meant it at the time, even though he's going back now and saying, "Oh, that was just a joke." You're telling a joke on the day 50,000 we crossed. I think the day or the day before we crossed the 50,000 dead people in America.
Got to keep those spirits
Line.
up.
Got to keep those, but
It's like it's
but-
not. Oh Lord.
but you're doing it to the medical professionals who are supposed to be advising you on the best way to reduce the number of deaths. And we in this last week, towards the beginning of the week, we passed the number of COVID deaths, passed the number of combat deaths in Vietnam. And next week, we're going to pass the total number of deaths from American deaths from Vietnam. And he wants to be a wartime president, but he's doing nothing that a wartime president would do, except pretend to look tough. So anyway, you guys know all this. I'm just preaching to the choir, and I just want to say it out loud.
Sometimes that's recuperative.
That's my rant. That's my rant, and I'm going to be quiet for the whole rest of the thing, and every once in a while just watch Leto, Deep Six, David Skog for 300 seconds.
Yep.
No, David's still the moderator right now. Ladano will just ask questions like, is Jamie a gargoyle today? After all, Laterano has said that she's happy when Jamie comes.
So Leto isn't alone in that. There are actually about like half a dozen other people that have always told me that at the moment. But no, I'm not a gargoyle currently. I am a vampire. But I do appreciate your noticing that I have changed.
So yes.
Before we go any further, I would like to thank our patrons.
True.
Eli, Holden, and Tim. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you for still giving us money.
Thanks, patrons.
We'll put the money to good use somehow. It costs a few bucks, like for the Zoom thing and the Buzzsprouts thing as well for the podcast.
Yeah, and the postage for the pot brownies.
I mean, pot brownies are a thing, yes.
Well, you have to send them to us because you're in a state where that stuff's legal and the post office isn't shut down yet. So take the chance, mail them out. I'm waiting. I see Methril is saying they're Brit and they know what sarcasm is, and he wasn't being sarcastic. Thank you for agreeing with me.
We elected Schrodinger's douchebag as president.
Well,
I just wanted to say I hate how a lot of Trump's supporters or just apologists like to act like he's something he's not, like he's just this like macho swaggering tough guy. So like, no, he's an adult rich rat with a platform. Lord. It's like he doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about anyone. He just cares about like acting like he's the smartest guy in the room.
And I guess now that the only way to remove him from office is to vote for the other person,
the other pervert.
Yes.
Which is the good evil, and which is the bad evil again? Which is the good rapist?
The slightly less evil rapist, the one who will replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg with not a 35-year-old fascist,
just a milquetoast centrist, like conservative judge. Like
this is just like.
Someone who will value precedents at the very least. Someone who just won't write new law. Not a right-wing activist. That's the best we can hope for.
This whole system is just so inhumane.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
so many people are just want to like preserve it because it's the only thing they know and feel and will just like say and are resistant to deeper change because it's uncomfortable to them for deeper change. And we're not ready for it as a whole.
Mhm.
Sadly.
Yeah, the thing about judges too, it's not just the Supreme Court. Mitch McConnell has been pushing through,
At every
30-year-old.
level, yeah.
Yeah, at every level, he's been pushing through federal judges at an incredible pace that are 30 years old, dumb as a rock, and conservative as hell. And at the moment, he is, well, I should say I read an article about it. I don't know that how speculative the article was, but I read an article about him now holding up any further stimulus to force through his slate of judges. There is a little bit of pushback on some of the judges that he's trying to push through. And they're talking about him holding up the any further stimulus for people, at least. I'm sure stimulus for business is going to be fine, but stimulus for actual human beings, he's going to be holding up to force Democrats to approve more of his judges. And the good part about that is that looks a little bit like he thinks Trump is in trouble in November. Because if he was confident that Trump was going to win, he wouldn't be in a big hurry to get more of these judges through. He'd figure he had 4.5 more years to do it.
Well, and also cramming through those judges is a good selling point for the base. It's a good way to rally the troops.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
look at how good a job we're doing putting these fascist pieces of shit into power. You should vote for us so we can keep on doing it for another 4 years.
But earlier this week I finished reading the book Yesterday's Man: The Case Against Joe Biden, because I got it for free from Vizio. They have for the deal to like for free ebooks. And what's I already know it's about like Joe Biden's history of like busing and voting against busing 19 times. Another and how he treated Anita Hill during the Clarence Thomas hearings, and how he kind of did help like put the like Anthony Scalia on the Supreme Court in his time in the Judicial Committee. But what I didn't know is that like as VP, he would just like to he again is that like third wave centrist, and also was always the most conservative Democrat in the Senate for the longest time, and so he would always talk to Mitch McConnell for like the 8 years or something like that, and just like talk to him like, hey, what do you want? What do we need? How can we compromise? How can we work together? And that's what I'm afraid of. Like if Mitch McConnell is still the Senate Majority Leader, there's always a chance that like the Democrats take back the House, which is good chance in this time around. I haven't looked closely into it because everyone's always so focused on like, well, right now the coronavirus, that's a big news item, but also it's been like the primary election up until it took over the airways of the political theater. And plus we don't usually talk about like the actual all the other like elections until like August when the primary elections happens in all those states, and then the general war is just like we have the presidential election, that's the only one nationwide, and every states have their own elections for this senator or this senator, and every Congress district has their elections. So yeah, but if Mitch McConnell still the Senate Majority Leader and Biden somehow does become president, I'm just afraid that like Mitch McConnell can still get a lot of things that he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Biden has said he's not opposed to appointing Republican justices to the Supreme Court, and he's making appeal. He wants to make appeals to the conservative base in policy matters, and
That's why he's not going to win in November. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It depends on what happens with the coronavirus and whether Trump does anything majorly continues to do majorly stupid things that erode his base.
You mean kill
But-
his base? They won't abandon him ever, but maybe
Mhm.
he could kill some of them
Well,
off.
yeah, if he's killing off enough of his people. Yesterday in Wisconsin, there was a protest of over 1,500 people to reopen the state.
There was one in
And-
like Olympia too. Yeah.
Yeah,
What
and
was
the thing was opened with the Pledge of Allegiance and singing. I think they sang the national anthem, and then they had 3 evangelical preachers give little prayers in the beginning, which shows where they're coming from. And then they had all the Trump flags and American flags, and I didn't see any. I haven't seen many. I just saw a little bit about it, so I haven't seen a lot of pictures. But I wouldn't doubt that there would be even some
Racist traitor flags.
Confederate battle flags,
Mhm.
and not the good one, not the white ones, the orange rags with the St. Andrew's cross on them.
Mhm.
And so I don't know. It is disheartening to see that happen in Wisconsin, because I like to think we're better than that, but after 8 years of Scott Walker, a lot of us aren't all that
Well,
much better.
True. Well, as I mentioned in the live chat, I've been listening to the Benjamin Dixon podcast this week. Started listening to him, and he mentioned in one of the shows, I think the Wednesday show or something like that, that about in commentary to the protests that's happening, is that I think he found out the information that like the protests that happened, like someone in the live chat I mentioned that the Michigan one was basically AstroTurf, and it was funded by the DeVos family to like reopen to a country, and that I can totally believe. And
it was. And so David Koch is also funding it as well. It's they're trying to do the Tea Party all over again.
Well, it worked before. I mean, the Tea Party that started in response to Obama being elected, and now they're just like they're doing it because of the coronavirus, but I bet they're just ramping up for the next one of a not fascist Republican possibly being in the White House. Again, it's not about Joe Biden being a socialist, it's about a not fascist or not conservative Republican being in the White House. Joe Biden's conservative anyway, but he's not a Republican. So yeah. Oh, but the fun thing is, like, okay, so I overheard this conversation. This time it wasn't me conversing with my conservative coworker. Another coworker was conversing with him, and he just mentioned the facts that like Donald Trump is praising the protests that's happening to protest the reopen the economy, reopen the companies. He praises those protests as true Americans. Yet he absolutely hated all the football players kneeling during the national anthem and absolutely hated that protest and said that they were traitors to the country. My coworker just brought up that fact to my conservative coworker, and my conservative coworker got defensive. It's like you're stating, you say you're just stating facts, but you're stating these facts with an agenda. And it's just like it was bizarre to my coworker. It's like, why are you so defensive? I'm just stating facts. You're stating facts.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
Yes. Again, tales of my conservative coworker is just like we're not forced to work a job because of capitalism. You chose to work a job in the capitalism. You can choose not to work the job and just go out in the woods. But if we get some single payer healthcare system, you're forcing doctors to then operate.
Yeah, it's just like
The Rand Paul logic.
The bootlicker logic.
yep.
Yes. Yes, he actually literally said that like if like someone needs to get a second job just so to make ends meet, yes, you should get a second job to make ends meet. That's what you have to do.
Right. That's responsible. Economic, right?
It's just like it takes a whole lot of. I'm realizing just how much my occasional conversations with the artist formerly known as World Corp 666 how much it's just like it's regular conservative logic, but like because I don't know, he was never taught to have a filter or whatever. It comes off like the rambling. Forgive me, but the rambling stupidity it actually is.
Mm.
Like when I'm conversing with Workcorps, and I bring up Medicare for all, he's just like, well, Medicare for all would tank the economy, and I ask, okay, why doesn't this happen to other countries that have it? And like he'll just go on a ramble or change the subject or whatever.
Because they don't have the military like we do.
That's why I always just approach those conversations as just purely for my own amusement.
Yep, that's the only way to go about it. Because again, like this happened like 2 years ago or a year ago or so. I put out a petition to like get like a single payer healthcare system referendum to be put on the ballot in an election. I put that out at work, got some signatures, but didn't fill up the page. So, but it's so funny, the passive aggressiveness of like, no, single payer healthcare system bad. No, I want single payer healthcare system. That's awesome. No, socialism bad. No, socialism is awesome. Move to Europe then. It is just like, and then there was a letter or a memo or something that was put out at the lunchroom next to it about how single payer healthcare system would tank the economy again, and I'm just like, wow. They were just like, maybe that's someone in the like the president of the company that put that out. They haven't signed it, but it's just like it's right-wing propaganda.
It's like, and a lot of the people who claim they hate socialism so much they can't even really define it.
It's when the government does things for brown people.
It's just basically, I tried to explain to Workcorps once, like, socialism can exist without the state, and he's just like, wow, socialism is when the government does X, Y, and Z, and I'm just like, okay, Jan.
Like we said last week, all the Americans or a lot of people has got to like not use the word liberal, socialism, communism, capitalism, and for conservatives, for sure, fascism, until they actually can demonstrate that they know what those words mean.
Feminism.
And feminism too, yes.
Liberal.
Yeah, mention that.
I think you mentioned one, yeah.
Because and that's essentially because like we mentioned last week, someone asked a question, just like saying to Steve, I'm going to join to like military because it's kind of socialism. But yesterday, in the premiere for Steven Stuffy episode, which was a great episode because I missed some of the jokes between like Jack McPherson and Toby Benson and like the Peking thing. But Dr. Babylon asked me how I became a communist. And so I started to answer, it's through feminism. I was learning about feminism, and some of the feminists I was listening to happened to also be like socialists or anarchists. So I hear about their like arguments against capitalism or the anti-capitalist like rhetoric, and I think it's like, oh, that sounds interesting. And I just slowly just learned more and more and more. Already came to the conclusion myself that like capitalism is not working. Like the meritocracy myth is just a myth. I mean, even if I get ahead, that will leave others behind, and I wanted to think about those behind instead of like think myself going ahead. And so, and then eventually, just like found ThoughtSlime's video on the state, and it's like, oh, so that's the anarchist critique against like the state. I guess I'm an anarchist now, and been then since. So, yeah. That's a topic that we can like bring up for everyone else. Like, how do you came to like anarchism and communism?
I know you guys. I'm just hanging out. So
you came to anarchism and communism because of us.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Well, no. To this iteration, yes. But when I was in high school, when I was in college during the Vietnam War and the protests about that, I was there were an awful lot of communists around, and there was some actual, Soviet type communist folks who were, who I talked to, who were sort of philosophical about it. The issue that I had, and to some extent still have, is that communism or Marxism is an incredible tool for social and political and economic analysis. It's amazing. It's probably the best that we have. But as a prescription for society, it has proven to be kind of prone to faction, and some of the factions are pretty awful. You get tankies and Maoists and things like that that I have some serious difficulty with, and then you have other folks that are not those people that I have less trouble with, and I think that might have some good policy directions and might be talking about a future I would like to live in. I'd like my son to live in. So that's me saying I don't know anything about it. So.
That's why you're here with us, to so that we can slowly but surely teach you or learn with you. But we're also just friends, or just hanging out and having conversations. And sometimes the topics can come up of well, how would this kind of work? And that's why I agree to this could be a good praise for people who generally have questions and have to face questions about anarchism, can come to us and talk about it. And of course, that's why we say the good faith, not talking to capitalists. So John, how did you become an anarchist?
Pretty similar to you, actually. Sort of drifted left in my understanding of why everything is shit.
Are you going to go next, Phoenix?
Sure. I started to lean toward the far left when I was in my early 20s, after I proudly cast my first vote for president for the first Black man who became president, and then watched him have stricter laws about protest, whistleblowers under the bus, and drone civilians. So
yes. Yeah. I wasn't even paying attention that much. I know about the drones, but after the fact, but the other stuff is I only know that now since becoming a leftist and paying attention to those things.
Yeah.
So Jamie, unless Phoenix, finish up if they're still going.
My early 20s is when I started to reconsider a lot of things. I think I've fully reconsidered just about everything by this point. I started meeting other anarchists and socialists, learning about what their views, doing reading stuff on my own, and now I'm an anarchist.
Cool.
/ libertarian socialist.
Yeah, same here.
So, for my experience, radicalizing, I guess, becoming an anarchist, I kind of grew up exposed to a very individualist sort of hackery subculture from a very young age, and that was much more right-leaning, but highly critical of the state. And from there, I'm pretty sure the biggest move leftward would have been, first of all, just being queer makes it pushes you out of right-wing spaces real quick, and
unless you're Milo Yiannopoulos.
Well, yeah, unless you're willing to be a token.
Yes.
And I guess I wasn't, or I didn't do it well enough, one or the other. But as a teenager, I'm pretty sure one of the biggest things that got me involved in radical environmentalism, which really moved me leftward, was I had a crush on a guy and I wanted to date him, and he was a vegan. So I started looking into veganism.
Ah.
Yeah.
You were horny. You
Yeah.
became a socialist. I get it.
Yeah, I was horny, so I became a socialist.
Socialists have better sex. Women have better
We-
sex under socialism. I mean, it's just
We do.
facts.
Or
Yeah.
over socialism. I don't think that we should be getting into prescribing positions here.
Yeah, sometimes beside socialism.
Yes.
Booning. Come on.
Everybody has better sex when they peg socialism.
Lord.
Oh, we're all in quarantine and we all been like without human touch. We all gotten so horny.
I've cuddled with my dogs. If any of you have furry friends, cuddle with them. You'll feel better. Also, if you can, get your hands on a weighted blanket. It's a big help.
Mm.
Can
Yeah,
I
hear that.
comment on this accusation?
Of,
God.
I betray bronies to the furry coalition. Thank you very much.
No, you're evil. That's how this works.
Ugh.
I noticed that you didn't protest when I said you capture and eat pigeons or beat up old ladies and steal their Werthers.
Well, yeah, but those were true.
Don't eat
well,
pigeons.
Werthers are great. I love Werthers. Well,
Don't eat pigeons.
I'm old though, so no, I'm not.
Pigeons are good verbs. They don't deserve that.
Yeah, I love pigeons.
Yeah, they're-
I capture them and I care for them during their lifespan, but then eventually they do pass of, natural causes. And since I'm a vampire, I drink their blood. So
oh my.
Oh, naturally.
Yeah.
yes.
Before they get cold.
Well, they deserve a proper burial.
Well, yeah, no. I just drink the blood out and then I put them in the shoebox.
Don't let that blood go to waste.
That's wow.
And this one I only do with consent.
Mm.
How do you get consent from a pigeon?
No. This accusation.
Oh, the newest one. Poking holes in condoms.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the alternative would be rape.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Ugh. So, did everyone here get stimulus money?
I did, yes.
I haven't gotten it yet.
Not yet.
None for me so far.
Bummer.
Oh,
Bummer. Well, if and when people get stimulus money, consider donating to one of the many fundraisers or collectives I shared in that. I have a Google Doc. It's going to be linked in every video I make from my super long 48-minute second response to Xander Hall /Pig Culture. And it's also in the description of my most recent video, which is like the brief 1-minute video about the COVID-19 crisis and how mutual aid is a way to help people get through it. Yeah, there are many fundraisers that exist that are for sex workers, for mutual aid and emergency relief funds, for undocumented populations who are in need of money, for artists and writers who are having trouble finding work. Yeah, there's all sorts of great things you could contribute to.
Putting the Phoenix's most recent video in the live chat right now.
Thanks.
If you really want to do some sort of social activism in this time of physical distancing, it's always possible to throw rocks from more than 6 feet away. Just if you're physically capable.
Why do you want to throw rocks at people?
Fascists, Republicans.
Yes.
because
Protesters
Molotov
say we
cocktails
should
are,
reopen
Well, they're not people, so okay, I can't go there. Nazis and fascists are definitely not people. The point is, yes, I realized that part of what I'm going to be talking about in my video I'm working on now is like how BreadTube, or a certain BreadTuber in particular, but like this is a problem among BreadTube. It seems to be all about talk and like performative allyship, and like not really about action.
Mm-hmm.
Really, that's what it's like. If you want people to if you really care about justice and you really actually want people to become more sympathetic to your cause, you might want to like actually help people. Like people want to talk, like some people want to talk about what great like allies to trans people they are, but they might just do nothing but spend all their time debunking or yelling at like any of the various tokens like Blair White or Calvin Gara, or like any of the numerous like truth scum trans people that are on YouTube. And it's really like, okay, that's nice. It's nothing that trans people couldn't do ourselves, but that's nice, I guess. But there are a whole lot of Twitter. You can easily find there are a whole lot of trans folks who are just who are trying to pay for their transitions, who are trying to escape abusive homes, who are trying to like do things as simple as keep food on the table or keep the lights on. Like that's stuff you could actually do. You could actually share those even if you can't donate, because I know not all YouTubers are filthy rich. Like, but you could always share those. You could always talk about issues like homelessness among LGBT youth. You could talk about LGBT issues in other countries and shout out a group like Rainbow Railroad that helps LGBT folks escape countries where they face like actual criminal punishment for being who they are. But like it seems like there's a lot of like disinterest in that among a lot of BreadTube, but even among a lot of progressive channels that are like progressive, but they're not BreadTube. So like that's something I wanted to talk about in this upcoming video.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to make it just a total repetition of my first video about performative allyship from 2 years ago. I want to like depthen it a little bit.
Yeah, I remember that first video because it's like in response to like Res Please, and yeah, I remember Res Please when she joined the community.
Yeah,
and that whole thing.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna put that video you're talking about from 2 years ago's allyship is now about you in the live chat right now as well.
Yeah, it's an old video from back when I thought I was cis.
And I thought I was cis at that time too.
No, if it's not about if it's not about me, then why would I do it? I don't.
The world's not about you. You live in a world. You live in a world with other human beings. You must accept this, or else you'll be no different than Trump.
I think that's also okay. So I think this is also part of my like further realization. I've already mentioned it a couple of places before, but knowing like people like Joanna Roberts, my friend, one of those instant friendships I have because like I just mentioned anime and she said, "Oh, have you seen Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood?" And it's like, "Oh, do," and it's like, "Well." A whole conversation is happening like right here, right now. Me and Joanna are going back and forth in the like side chat. It's just like, have you seen Uta? Oh, I love Uta. I love Uta. Have you seen like Ruby? Oh yeah, Ruby's awesome. And the others are like, what the hell is Ruby? But knowing Joanna Roberts like a situation, being disabled, having 4 different conditions, and like have to live on SSI because it's just like hello Jordan Joan P. That has like further recognized, like, wow, this system is failing me. And then I started just ranting to Steve Jobs about that, and then that morphed into like, hey, can you put these shared links down below? And he kept them there, and it's like, that's awesome. And then I was just like, hey, let me rant about more stuff. It's like, hey, let's talk about these sort of things. And I thought I could recognize Steve to be an anarchist, but now I'm the point where it's just like, okay, he believes in the state. That's probably as far as we can go. That's fine. Yes, I've been drinking caffeine.
Me too.
Switch to decaf. Yeah, it's like
I'm never switching to decaf. I'm gonna continuously consume caffeine until
you're a programmer / hacker. So
I-
yeah.
So it's Mountain Dew, is it?
I
actually
love Mountain Dew.
Hmm?
Red Bull for me.
Oh, okay.
It's this stuff for
So
me.
you go
Red Bull
for the
gives
hard
you
stuff.
wings.
Well, I mean, this is like the low end hard stuff. Like I'm more of a like no doser,
Mm-hmm.
Bavarian.
Mm-hmm. I actually also have some Rockstar next to me, but this one's the hydration one, so it's only 10 calories and actually is like kind of as actual electrolytes in it, so like almost like a Gatorade.
Yeah, that's the kind of Rockstar I like best. I've been drinking the sugar-free Red Bull, so
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Red Bull gives you wings.
That was a lie! I drink several Red Bulls. At least I didn't try it, for sure.
Pretty
I'm
sure
just like,
the pluralization is Red's Bull.
I thought it was Redden's Bold.
Lord. So yeah. That's all I'm gonna say. There needs to be more open, like RedTube critical stuff.
mm-hmm.
Well, there's us. We criticize them all the time.
Yeah,
All
we
the
do.
cunty beardos.
We very much do.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy,
In fact, we
whenever
should
I
stop calling them bread tube. They're beard tube.
beard tube, yes, even the ones that are not bearded,
Yes.
They have beards in their hearts.
their hearts are bearded. If we somehow took an X-ray of their heart, we see full follicle beards.
Red tube, more like, or bread tube, more like red brown tube.
Yes, red brown tube. Mm.
It's just like, and that's it struck me as kind of funny that so many bread tubers are so disinterested in mutual aid, since the conquest of bread is literally about mutual aid.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny to me. It's like, I mean, it's predictable, but
Well, it's kind of funny how it's like I watched one person and said, it's like, I get called a bread tuber and that's ridiculous. I'm not a anarcho-communist, which the other person that they were interviewing said that's not what bread tube's about. And it's like, that is so true. And I agree. That's kind of a problem. Well, for me, if I think you're saying that you're a leftist, I'm going to assume that you're anti-capitalist. And when I find out that you're not, that's where I get disappointed.
Right, yeah. My perspective is that if you're not an anti-capitalist and you're not anti-capitalist because you're concerned with the power dynamics in place and the opportunities for coercion that are established because of capitalism, then like what do you have in common with like the bread book philosophy? What do you have in common with anarchism or bread like pilling or whatever you want to call it?
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, if that's the only variety of power dynamic that you're critical of, you're like, why are you in a position where maybe you can be part of the fandom of RedTube, but I don't get why it is that you would be considered a viable like position in a leader, as a creator, as an educator, as a organizer,
Mm-hmm. Oh, damn it. Now I feel like I need to do more organizing, like offline, just like plug myself into the DSA, plug myself into the IWW, then, well, just do online stuff because we're in quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, at least like there's not really like, because of my incredibly crippling social anxiety, there's not a whole lot I can do. But
Yeah.
I think the Google Doc is a good option. Like I am sharing it actively, regularly, and like yeah, it's just me just linking to a bunch of collectives information and fundraisers. Also, I recently added a list of Twitter hashtags where they can find so people can look and find people who need help. So far, I have hashtag Twitter Food Bank, hashtag Mutual Aid, hashtag Trans Crowdfund, hashtag Disability Crowdfund. I can add more, but those are the ones I know of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been like using some of those ones as well. Like they just like whenever some of my tweets like go viral, I now have basically a script. So I was like, okay, this tweet is valid. So it dumped a whole bunch of the charity links to my friends into that, them using those hashtags, and then eventually at the end, it's just like, yeah, capitalism sucks. We should get rid of it, please. Let's do that, so that all these people wouldn't be in this situation that they are now. Yeah.
Yeah, occasionally I like to work around Twitter a lot, even though I can't use it. Occasionally I'll find things there, like if people asking for money because like they lost their job because of the pandemic, and like so they need to keep the lights on or keep food on the table. So like I'll just click the link. I'll just link that to my community care Facebook page, which if you haven't checked it out yet, everyone, you should. It is rad. I'm gonna link it in the chat. Yeah, like so. Even if I'm not on Twitter, I just can still lurk around and see other people who need help. I know why people ask for a lot of help on Twitter because it's like one of the most accessible pages or like social media sites. Yeah, I have Tumblr, but Tumblr is less good for that kind of stuff. But I have like posted a lot of stuff on there too.
And Tumblr banned the female presenting nipple.
I'm curious.
Oh, right.
Why it is that you have not done what I did and just been like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna be on Twitter anyway.
I did do that with my Gmail account. I started a page. I started a new Twitter specifically for like sharing stuff and sharing my like pics or advertising my pics. But they asked for my phone number, and now I can't do anything until I get like a burner phone or something. I don't know.
Did you know you can just use Google Voice? Which is free and comes with every Gmail account and includes a textable phone number.
Ooh, yeah. I didn't know that. That's rad.
So you can use your Gmail account to authenticate your Gmail account.
Yep, you can do dual factor through the same account. It's super secure.
Nice.
It's not very secure, but you know.
It is what it is.
The fascists banned you, so you only have so many options. Yeah,
it's not fair. I mean, I wrote a whole like Medium article about this, but still, like, so I get banned because I'm mean to the fascists. They ban for like because they don't use the no words, but they're still huge jerks. That's lovely. Thanks, Jack. Jack is going to be one of those parents who tells his daughter, that boy hits you and pulls your hair because he likes you. That's the kind of thinking that goes into that.
Just because I know that my Twitter is not updated yet in the description, and I guarantee you none of us will remember to do that. I'm gonna put it in chat real quick.
You're right.
Update for when I do my highlight videos or something like that, and I think I updated in like my links down below in my videos. So John, you're being lazy again.
Lazy.
What?
Lazy Daisy.
So yes, there's the links there. Let's look at if people don't mind, I'm gonna like change topics a little bit. Like, has there any been like new entertainment that like you have consumed in these past weeks or something like that?
Not new. I've been watching old stuff.
I've just been binge watching my regular like true crime stuff. I'm pretty sure that I've written this story like most of the crimes that I watch on their shows in my head. I've never put any of them down on paper. Well, that's not true. I did one time. I did write this like short like kind of. It was based on a writing prompt about like story that takes place in a room that ends with, and this is where it all happened. That's that statement. So I wrote a brief, like, little, what would you call it? Maybe just a paragraph, basically about a young woman who married several rich older men, and the way she did this was she would put personal ads out, and she would marry them, and like after a few weeks, she would take them into this room and bash them in the head with a chandelier. Not a chandelier, a candelabra. Is it candelabra or candelabrum? Anyway, she bashed them in the head with that, and like stage it as botched robbery. And that's the room where it all happened.
Mm-hmm.
There was a guy at the Chicago World's Fair, a doctor, who built an actual murder hotel.
Cool. That's rad.
Like a real life horror movie kind of thing. You have vents for gases and false hallways and stuff like that, and wild.
That sounds awesome. Can you visit it when quarantine isn't happening?
I do not think so.
I get so much inspiration from being there. Yeah, it would trigger my anxiety, but still.
His name was H.H. Holmes.
Interesting. Although there are similar things that do exist, like, what was it? Lizzie Borden's old home is it's currently a bed and breakfast, or it was at some point. So like you could stay there, and a lot of people have reported that they saw ghosts or like ghostly things. So like things like that do exist that you can visit.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like his murder hotel was torn down since he built it 130 some odd years ago. That's not too surprising.
That kind of sucks.
It's a post office now.
Oh, and that might shut down if Trump gets his way. Hopefully he doesn't.
This actually reminds me of something stupid I heard PETA did once. PETA, this is a specific thing that they did.
I don't believe you. PETA's never done a stupid thing once.
Okay, so
no, they've done the same stupid thing more than once.
They do it over and over again.
Yeah.
No, I'm telling a story. So at some point, like a few years ago, Jeffrey Dahmer's house went up for sale or auction, and PETA bid on it specifically to turn it into a museum about how meat consumption is evil. It's stuff like that that just makes you want to stand up and go like, what are you doing? Why? What are you doing? why are you doing this, and how can we get you to stop?
I don't know.
PETA are awesome.
Mm.
Fighting for the cause, they're doing what's right.
It's just like, yes, PETA, I agree. Eating meat is bad. When you compare it to eating human flesh to cannibalism, you sound kind of unhinged. Just a tad. It's like, because like when you're like, you have a cause like animal rights that goes against like so much of what culture is built on, like when it like eating animal flesh, wearing things like leather, fur, and using like down pillows, going to entertainment like marine parks or zoos or aquaria, or or even things like or like wearing or using products, not even wondering if they're tested on animals. When like you're doing something, you're promoting something that's so against like conventional wisdom, you have to kind of weigh the pros and cons. Like, yes, you might think the ends justify the means, but that kind of puts focus on your ends. Like, what are your goals? Are they going to work? Is this going to work? Does this really justify your means?
Yeah.
Yes, always, because it's murder. Meat is murder. Always.
I agree with that, but it's
and
not.
You have to, and you have to be a giant douche in order to stop people from murder.
Speciesism isn't cool.
It's not, but it's like it's as accepted. It's accepted as it once was. No, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there because like racism still exists and excuses are still being made for it. That's something I wanted to make a video about for a long time, because I made a video once in the infancy of my YouTube channel as it is today, that speciesism doesn't equal racism, sexism, etc., and that's okay. I'm kind of rethinking that. I started rethinking that some years ago when I first read Afroism, which is a really awesome book that you should all read if you get a chance. Mm-hmm. One of the things that the authors talk about in that is how speciesism is how racism and other like oppressions have their roots in speciesism, because for a long time people of color were like dehumanized and seen as not human. And sometimes we still are. Sometimes we are still treated like you're less than human.
Mm-hmm.
Well, World's Fairs used to have, at least some of the early ones, used to have sections of human zoos.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I want to make a video about that in particular. Like, that's what it reminded me of when back in 2016 when Leslie Jones was doing all that horrible just abuse and being and like that Shuan had thought was totally funny, and like thought, oh, she looks like a gorilla now.
And June has never like apologized for us or even realized of like how wrong it is, and even as recently of like a few months ago.
That's because June is a piece of shit.
My thing is like, I wouldn't even believe it if she did apologize, because it's just like, you can't just say and do crappy things and just expect people to just deal with it.
But no, I'm tiny.
Yes.
It's just like, that's why like in my most recent response to her, which was like last March, I just I said in like a mocking voice, like, oh, Phoenix, why were you so mean to Shu? She's one of the nice. Like that's what I think about it. It's just like
June just have bad takes. That's a serious offense I got her from a friend.
Yes, she just has bad takes. That's all she has.
That's another problem I have with BreadTube, like trying to rehabilitate June's image. I'm just like, no, you don't get to just be shit for years and continue to be shit, because like she still is just and get a pass just because, I don't know, you're you're just a little woman. It's just like, and that's another thing. Like, it's like totally just like, if I could be blunt with y'all for a second, people treat white women like toddlers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought about this when I was like, one of the things, like, because I have totally morbid interests. I was watching like this like series that was on TV once called The Tragic Side of Comedy. I was watching it on YouTube. I watched one segment is about Phil Hartman, who was, if you don't know, he was murdered by his wife back in 1998.
Yep, I remember that.
They had a really toxic relationship, and like she was a drug addict, and like and I like. But what bothered me about that comment section, where there were so many people saying, "Oh my God, why is Andy Dick there? Andy Dick got her back on cocaine," and I'm just like, I'm sorry, I thought it was the responsibility of the drug addict in recovery to stay off drugs, not like it's just like he did not get her back on drugs. He was an addict who offered drugs to another addict. It was like not taking them was on her. It's just like that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. It's just like why do these white women who everybody thinks are really cute, why do they have no accountability for their own actions? It gets on my nerves.
Yeah.
Because women don't have agency. Women are objects.
If I might interject a counterpoint,
You know,
June is no less racist or transphobic than like Peter Coffin or
Yeah.
Vaj.
Yeah.
you know, that's
So
one of the-
really, she is a far left feminist ally and anti-racist, right?
By the transitive property of assholeness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're real leftists and we're just, liberal moderates, right?
Yeah, and and I'm Beyonce.
You're Beyonce?
Whoa.
That's
I might
cool.
be. I might be. You never know.
Can you get me some of Dre's headphones?
No.
No, those things are way too expensive for anybody.
Oh yeah.
Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, I could make a video like pointing out like how condescending that is, like treats how it's like condescending, how like treating June like a toddler, like when she's a grown woman and she knows better. But it's just like, I don't need another 1,000 comments. Oh, you're just jealous. Oh my God, you're just jealous because she gets more views and she's prettier than you. It's like, she looks like she's still in high school, but go off, queen.
She's older than I am.
But much less mature.
How old is she?
She's less than a year
28.
older than me.
What's
She's
that?
not quite 30.
Not quite there.
Okay. God, I would have. Of course, it's
Yeah,
been a
like-
while since I've seen her, but I would have pegged her at, like
She's in her late
21.
She's in her late 20s, but I'm pretty sure my 3-year-old niece is more mature than she is.
Mm-hmm.
Although my niece, she made YouTube videos, she'd probably make them all about Baby Shark.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very hot topic these days. So
Yeah, unless it has
that's
to
really smart marketing. She's got her demographic down.
I wouldn't want any of the kids in my family to be on YouTube.
I mean, none of the kids in your family should want to be kids on YouTube either, in all fairness.
But no, they got to start earning that money early.
It's like
Right.
like-
Otherwise, how are they going to be able to afford their how are they going to be able to afford to get a job?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's actually another thing. I've been wanting to make and write content about children's rights, because I think a lot of the problems we have in the world are because we treat children like basically property.
Well, they are
Yeah.
property. They're investment properties. That's why you have children. So
Right,
that
you
you can
have children.
retire and your children can afford to take care of you.
Exactly.
Please don't even joke about that kind of shit, please.
It's not even a joke. It's
Not
like
really.
I mean, people.
how
I mean,
people treat it.
I mean that's but it's that kind of thinking that exists that like it's why there are so many like millennials who are so just fucked up. It's like, and I'm including myself in that, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah,
like-
on the right, children are definitely viewed as property to be done
Just
with
like-
as the parents please.
It's just like, yeah, and I try to like, I get like so frustrated when I get into conversations about this with like people, in comment sections and stuff. Like, there's so many true crime stories revolving around like, but basically they happen because people see their children as just things they can use and throw away when they get tired of them. Basically, it's like,
I feel
people
like a
wonder-
great solution to this would be to allow them the self-determination and self-ownership necessary to sell themselves into ethical, contractual,
Indentured servitude.
slave arrangements, I was gonna say, but that's another way of wording it.
yeah.
That's what those are college loans. That's what they call that.
No, I think they call it the Chicago School.
I mean, like I've seen so many people just defend like any kind of terrible thing, like whether it's fictional or whether it's in reality that a parent does to their child because they mean well. It's just like I'm noticing I'm noticing this is also a problem with BreadTube, by the way. I'm sorry I keep coming back to that.
That's fine.
But yeah, it's just like sorry, but intent really doesn't mean anything. Like impact matters more. It's like, and if you didn't mean to do something damaging you did, you need to fix it and apologize and do better.
Yeah, like
besides,
if you accidentally murder someone, if you accidentally kill them, they're not any less dead.
You still have to go to jail. You still have to pay a fine. It's like
Unless you're a cop
Right, unless you're a cop, and then
and
you
your
can...
victim was black. I mean, if you're a cop and you
Right,
kill a
well,
white
so-
person, you're going to have consequences.
Well,
Okay.
maybe not even then.
No.
not if they're disabled or poor.
Mm.
If you're a
Or-
cop and you kill a Karen, you're fucked.
Yeah, okay, there you go. If
If you
you're a
make-
cop and they're a white supremacist.
Right.
Um,
Well, folks, I'm getting on in years.
Okay.
My back
Okay.
is hurting a little bit. I'm
Well, thank you
Didn't
for stopping
sleep
by
well.
in your very fine hat, Tom.
I'm giving all my excuses for all I really need to say is go fuck yourselves. The people that need to be told that, the people that don't feel that is a good thing, please don't. And the rest of you who needed to be told it, fuck off.
Bye, Tom.
Bye. Tom.
Bye. It's been fun again.
As always.
have a good night.
Thanks. You too.
Have a good night,
Bye-bye.
Or
Tom.
good
Thanks.
evening.
Bye-bye.
So yes, BreadTube sucks. A lot of things in the world sucks.
Yeah.
I have never.
You have okay. Fair enough. I didn't. A lot of things suck, but Jamie doesn't. That's good.
Yeah,
Uh.
I'm a top.
That's right.
Well, tops
Yeah.
can still suck. It can be a dominant thing, especially if they're tied up.
Well, wait, what?
Not the top, the
I
bottom.
make a
If the bottom is tied
distinction.
up. it can be- yeah.
I make a distinction between top versus bottom and sub versus dom.
Mm.
Oh,
Okay.
that reminds me of a meme I shared on Facebook last night. Where is it? It's a meme about lesbian girlfriends. Give me a minute. Talk amongst yourselves.
Talking amongst ourselves.
Aha! I found it.
That's
Okay, so it's a screenshot from Tumblr. This user lesbian bottom memes, right?
Oh yes.
My lesbian farmer GF, or as I like to call her, my crop top. And then someone else reblogged that and said, my lesbian electrician GF, or as I like to call her, my power bottom. And then I added my lesbian gamer GF, or as I like to call her, my Nintendo Switch. And I added an Ulu face. People are amused by that. It's just like, I don't have a gamer girlfriend. I'm alone. I'm sad now. Ugh.
Well, there's some things that I've like been watching, catching up on like the Netflix stuff. So I've watched the third season of Castlevania, and I quite enjoyed it. It's more Castlevania, and I like it. It got a little depressing at the end, though. So it's like, so there is that, and especially it's just like, oh my god, I wish that didn't happen, but that's where the story went. Oh well. Now everyone who's like still around is just more sadder. The violence is there, the action is there, quite enjoyable. That still love the characters. Just like they're going to be a fourth season, so I'm interested in what kind of like story they tell there. But there's another interesting show that I also watched that's a Netflix owned show as well. It's animated, but it's like a 3D modeling from Japan, Beastars.
I saw a YouTube video about that, comparing it to Zootopia, or the
Are you officially a furry now?
Yeah, I just don't know what my persona is.
Obviously, you're a raccoon.
Cool.
Yes. I have a raccoon hat on right now, actually.
Or a tanuki. I mean,
you could be like me and have several.
Yeah, I probably could. I mean, once I get a cat, I'll be a cat persona.
Oh yeah, that actually makes a ton of sense. Because all cats are beautiful.
Yes.
But I was gonna say, did you know that Adam Rainstopper, who I know that I'm pretty sure everyone who is part of this podcast knows, and most of the people in chat right now know.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Rainstopper has a persona now, who is a red and black, half red, half black panther.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is great for symbolic reasons.
Yes. I'm gonna put Adam's Rainstopper's like a YouTube channel into the chat, but also I will find his SoundCloud because he produced very awesome punk music. And you were like, your voice was on one of them, on one of the songs, right?
Yeah. I was. I've contributed vocals to his. Oh my god, I don't remember the name of the track.
Yeah, it's the one with Steve Shives is on it too. All right, and so there's talking amongst yourselves. Oh,
carrots and peas. Rhubarb.
Watermelons and cheese.
No need to get racist about it.
Wait, what?
Beba.
And to think I was going to give you a raise.
Adam Stopper, I guess, is his name now.
No, he no longer stops rain. He just stops everything.
Yeah, I guess so. According to Jonathan.
How about that?
I'm just like quick with my typing and faster than my brain sometimes.
Yeah, I do that stuff too.
It happens.
The worst thing I do is I constantly just like leave out words when I'm tired. So I'll write like an entire sentence and I'll have like the subject of the sentence not included in it. I'll just leave that word out.
This sentence, no verb.
Yeah.
Oh man. I don't know if like Dick Coughlin has an audiobook now or not. I have stopped following Dick Coughlin a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turned out he's a creep.
Yep.
I've heard similar stories. All I know is that he keeps trying to add me everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
Which is-
I think I'm still friends with one of his accounts, but like, he's making people feel uncomfortable on my profile. So yeah.
Is he?
Well, he was. He was making one of my local friends feel uncomfortable.
That's
Yeah.
disappointing.
Not particularly surprising.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, but it is disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hate constantly throwing people out who have been nice to me, but since they're not nice to other people, they're not nice people.
Mm-hmm.
That was one thing with Peter Coffin. Like, he was nice to me, so that's why. So that's why I felt kind of a need to defend them to a point. But yeah, I realized like I can't do this. I'm trying to actually make people feel safe in communities I'm trying to create. So yeah.
Speaking of Peter, I want to make a brief little PSA. Peter now exclusively uses they them pronouns.
Okay, fair.
And I know this is very recent. I know that a lot of people have unfollowed them for a long while and pay them no mind. But I do want to make sure that if anybody is discoursing or discussing about them, that
Okay.
they are aware that those are their pronouns now.
Okay, I apologize. Yeah.
No worries. It is a recent thing, and I did have like a check to confirm. It's like it threw a block, and it's like, oh no, yeah, okay, it's they them. It's official now. Because a lot of people have just like didn't know that until they're told about it. So yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know until I had inadvertently misgendered them, and somebody brought it to my attention. And so I just want to make sure that that was not something that passed anyone else by. Also,
Yeah.
Also they're an unpleasant individual with a
Yeah.
history of harassment, abuse, and
Defending the same in others.
oh yeah, just defending harassment, abuse, rape, getting people put in prison for their political activism. Yeah, that kind of stuff. One time they went on a multi-year long public lying spree in order to hide the fact that they started dating their wife when she was in her mid-teens and they were in their late 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did see what
Sorry, ex-wife. They recently split, I guess.
Really?
That's right.
I did see that Ashley did post about that. It's kind of awkward because her first name is also my dead name, but she wrote, she kind of wrote like a semi passive aggressive thing in response to that, like, why did nobody talk to me, the supposed victim, something like that.
Oh yeah, she said that the reason why is because I didn't go out of my way. I was the one who shared this. I didn't go out of my way to share it. I shared it in a thread,
private conversation.
Yeah. With my partner, and it was semi-public. It was publicly visible, but there was like nobody looking at it until yes, it is Peter Coffin.
Yes, we're talking about Peter Coffin right now, Tim.
And they saw the tweet, presumably searching for this kind of information to see if it was out there.
Yeah.
and they threatened me. They approached me privately and threatened me over it. And so I tried to call them out for threatening me, and they decided to change the topic to what they threatened me for, which sort of forced me to explain that this was a thing that, they explain in detail that this is a thing that likely happened, and that they lied and claimed that they had been catfished by someone when in fact it was their within a couple years to be a wife.
Mm-hmm.
And I showed some evidence that the person who ran that account and their wife had discussed living in the same place, having the same birth date, dating Peter Coffin right around the same time, having the same 2 specific video game special interests,
Mm-hmm.
discussing similar medical, a similar jaw issue that they required a similar
just a lot of
medical
very
intervention
odd
for.
coincidences between.
Yeah. And so this didn't come out of nowhere.
Yeah. No, that's not the way. When Vanderhall talks about this, it's not the way he made it seem. Of course.
Still have not watched that video. I
was gonna say I've actually not seen it.
That's fair. I've been watching a lot of his stuff just because I'm trying to make this video about performative allyship, and a lot of his live streams and wine fests against any person who speaks out against BreadTube are chock full of fake allyship and chock full of just being a total asshole to noticeably to trans people who don't kiss his backside 24/7.
Not just trans people, specifically trans disabled people a lot of the time.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, it's almost like there's a specific intersection that has Pig Puncher is their name.
Xanderhall's their new name, but their old name was Pig Puncher, so reference to Minecraft, because they used to be just a Minecraft streamer, and then they discovered BreadTube or something like that, and then they did a video. No, he, him is his pronouns. Did a video of how they fell out of the alt-right pipeline. They're transition, but what's is terrible about Pig Puncher Xanderhall is that Xanderhall. Well, a lot of things, but he also said that people that are still talking about Xanderhall as Pig Puncher, saying Pig Puncher, Pig Puncher, Pig Puncher, he is equating that to being dead name.
Yeah, first of all, nothing like that. Second of all, we all know the reason he changed his name is because Pig Puncher implied he was more radical than he could live up to.
He claims that one of the trans people in his community actually originated that joke. I don't know. But I personally don't really care if that's it. It's just it's still kind of just just don't do it, okay? Kind of just maybe don't go there.
Yeah, it's a comparison that doesn't need to be drawn, and it does trivialize and make light of a very serious issue, and it certainly doesn't help his case when he claims to be an ally, because if trans people don't recognize him as an ally, he's not, because that's not how allies work. Allies are if I don't know, Cuba just said, oh, but we're the ally of the United States during the Cold War, I kind of doubt that Kennedy would have been oh, sorry, I didn't realize.
Right.
But if the United States had said that we're an ally of Cuba, then it would have worked because we're the white ones.
I don't think it would have.
Well,
I think Cuba probably would have.
Americans are white.
I think it probably would have still caused conflict, because I don't think that Cuba was at conflict with us purely because we decided so. I think it was in part also because we were not acting as though we were their allies. And if we did nothing different and just said, oh, but we're allies, I don't think they would have felt differently in the end.
Well, in the end, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I think.
And now that song's playing in my head.
That's why I did that.
I think that. I think as a general rule, like someone self-identifying as an ally should be a red flag. Just like you don't. Like, I'm sorry, you don't get to just call yourself an ally, and then that makes you above criticism. It's like, I don't care about your Google Doc that like argue that like contains all the great best arguments for trans people being valid. It's just like, can we kind of just pretend can we kind of just pretend we're past that argument and like actually help trans people? Like, you think they're valid? Cool. You think they're valid to have evidence to prove it? Cool. Can you maybe help keep roofs over their heads and food in their stomachs? Like, Lord. And maybe not yell at them when they criticize you.
Oh, that's the thing, actually. Like, we've wanted to mention this last week, but like the YouTuber Thoughts line, 2 weeks ago or something like that, 2 Fridays ago,
right.
3 Fridays ago, he put up a video that I didn't see because I actually don't usually watch Thoughts line stuff. But
Isn't Thoughts line with they as well?
No, Thoughts line is he him.
No.
Okay.
Thoughts line is exclusively he him now. Okay. Yeah.
He him NB. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the Thoughts line he put up a video 2 weeks ago. Don't know what's it about. I just knew that he took it down. And then he explained next week, because he explained how to use some outdated ableist terms like lunacy, which is like, it's kind of like trivializes his mental illness as way. But he explains in the video. He listened to criticism. He got some good faith criticism, talked to his partner about it, and decided to take it down. But then RedTube, he never name dropped names, but I think we can definitely apply he's talking about those big cunty beardo bread tubers, because they were using Thought Slime as an example. It's like, look at that, the cancel culture did it again. They forced Thought Slime to take down his video, and Thought Slime's like, no, I decided to take down the video. Yes, it sucks to be told that I did something wrong, but you know what? I recognize that I did something wrong. I recognize I hurt people I didn't intend to, and it sucked to feel that way, but I got over it, took down the video, and move on. But then they were using him as a prop in their war against cancel culture or something like that, and he hated that, so he spoke out about it in the next video of like explaining like why he took that video, and pretty much just calling out those people out. I hate you people, stop what you're doing. And he also regretted how, like, so many times before, when people done bad things or said terrible things, he was silent about it, or ignore it, or just not talk about it for this vague sense of unity. But like, as he saw those big bread tubers were using him as a prop for their agenda, he was like, "Fuck that! I'm not. No, you stop using me for your games. Stop it." So
yeah.
Yeah, it took a lot of courage for my Thoughts on into did, yeah, because like, but that is a sign of like how to like what we said before. It's not about like someone saying the off-color joke or like misappropriating the term or just like not recognizing that they're doing harm. We're human, we're fallible, we can make mistakes. What's the
right.
So John Brockman is perfect. Damn sissy. But the thing, when you are criticized for something that you've done, and you recognize how you do in response to that criticism, it's like, oh hey, you do it, please. That was gross at what you did. That response to criticism is what shows if someone's a good person or not. Because if they double down, it's like, what are you talking about? I did nothing wrong. No, screw you. Then, okay, that's a bad person. But it's like, oh, you're right. I'm sorry about that. I didn't intend to. I refuse to apologize and correct the action. Like, took down the video.
Right.
Or the comment that if they made a comment on Facebook, even it's like a week afterwards, then that is a sign of a good person. Because if they recognize criticism and change their behavior.
I agree with all that. Yeah, it's stuff you really shouldn't have to explain to grown adults, but this is the world we live in now, I suppose.
But that's another thing that Thought Slime has like said in his video too, as well. People were people were thanking him or congratulating him for doing what he thinks is the bare minimum of admitting he fucked up and doing the corrective action of taking down the video or like adding a comment or deleting a tweet. He thinks like that's what we should all do. You shouldn't be celebrated for that. It's just what's the human thing to do.
Yeah.
So,
Now, when I hold the door for someone, they'd better thank me or I'm going to break their fucking legs. Because I did a nice thing.
Okay,
I'm a
Mr.
good
Sister. Mr. Sissy.
Yeah, it's tragic.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So what
like
else has
Tom,
happened?
I am fading.
Okay.
'Cause
I think that's a good place to stop the show too. In 45 minutes, also, I'm leaving to like watch more anime with friends as well. Again, breaking
quarantine. God,
yes, I know
worst.
how terrible.
Jonathan, why won't you like break quarantine to watch anime with me ever?
Well, you know.
Maybe if Amtrak can like bring me down to Portland, maybe.
Yeah, no, we I will look into when it is that it will be possible to go back up to Seattle, by the way.
Mhm.
Yeah, because we definitely needed to chill more.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I would love to do that. Yeah. It felt regretted not doing that like earlier when there was a movie out in theaters, but oh well. Next time though. But definitely, I would love to like hang out with you more and your girlfriend, and where we can talk about like the politics of tentacle porn again.
Yeah, we could talk about the politics of tentacle porn. We could talk about like hentai censorship. Oh, we could talk about that new concept of do you know the idea of let me double check that I'm getting this the name of this right. We should share this with our audience also. The Ainu is a I believe a group of
it's an ethnicity in Japan. They were the natives when the ethnic Japanese came in.
Yeah,
they are
okay.
an oppressed minority of
so the penis festival in Japan is actually, it comes from an old Ainu tradition where they believed that a demon would exist in the vagina of unmarried women. And
what?
Yeah, and it would I don't know that they literally believed this, but it is part of their mythology. And it had sharp teeth. And so on a woman's wedding night, it would bite off the penis of a man if she didn't first have a local blacksmith forge for her an iron phallus with which she could break off all of its teeth thoroughly before she considered marriage.
Full Metal Dildo. Okay.
Yeah.
I think okay, so like the Full Metal Dildo part, I haven't seen that in the hentai yet, but like I have seen like similar things that you described in the hentais before.
Yeah, so that concept is what Penis Festival is a celebration of that tradition that you may or may not have heard of.
Is well, this is the first time I heard of the Penis Festival, and I go search it, and it shows up with the results. It's a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing. I'm surprised that you had not. How do I keep knowing things that
Again, I never went to 4chan.
Is this a 4chan thing again?
I don't know, but it's just like, it is amazing how you know about Pony Jar and the Penis Festival, and yet I don't.
Yeah, you're interested in the brony culture and the weeb culture more than I am. So I am a little surprised.
I guess because I just don't go
No,
to
you're
like online.
surprised.
I guess because I just watch anime. I don't actually go to online anime forums.
See, I guess 4chan it's an image board. That's basically an online anime forum.
Yes. It kind of really was. It's just like, because for years I would go to like SoccerCom and a big large like the opening series, someone say, "I lost the game," and I was just like, "What the hell is that?" Until years later, it's like, okay, I lost the game? Did that came from 4chan? Oh yeah, it came from 4chan. It's like, I knew it. The worst things come from 4chan.
I've never been on 4chan. I'm gonna keep it that way.
It's kind of awful. Well,
yeah, I maybe used to hang out there and worse places.
No, I won't judge.
I do. I judge.
You should. Yeah.
But at least the Penis Festival is kind of a fascinating thing to learn. When we learned about the Pony Jar, that was just like, again, John Brock's reaction was just great.
Oh yeah, the Penis Festival is a phallus procession. They go through villages and towns and cities.
It's a penis parade.
Yeah, with a bunch of like paper mache and like penis costumes, and they start selling penis like candies.
Funnel cakes.
Royd would have a field day. Royd would have such a field day with that.
Corn dogs.
Oh Lord.
Deep fried turkeys.
I imagine if I went to that, I would never want another vegan corn dog again, no matter how good the mouthfeel is.
The mouthfeel. Oh.
I reclaim that joke for the people, comrades.
Yes.
I appreciate that. But yeah. So tune in next week for sure when I can tell you about what it was like hanging out in Totsi at that time period of my life as well. I'm sure I can dig up a couple stories for y'all.
All right.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
So remember the charity links to like the immunocompromised people earlier in the chat. Help out as much as you can if you're able to. Do not overexert yourself. Do not put yourself at risk financially or otherwise. Peace, love, stay hydrated. As Phoenix said, stay safe out there. And now, John, I'll let you close out the show.
All right. Jamie, actually, would you like to share any links or thoughts or tell people to go places?
Yeah, so y'all should follow me at my new Twitter. And you can get at me right there. And if you would be so kind as to consider sending any donations to me via Ko-fi, I would be forever grateful. I am a disabled, trans, queer, non-binary person, and I struggle between my health and discrimination to be able to maintain gainful employment. So that helps out a lot.
All right, and you, Phoenix?
Check out my Patreon. Check out the Google Doc of all the COVID-19 resources. And remember, we can't trust the state, so we need each other.
Mutual idea.
Let's see. Don't forget to check out Julie's stuff, Miss Andrea Animals on Facebook, and you can find her at Lito Anor on the Twitch, on the Twitters, Twitters.twitch, Twitter. And as for me, you can find me on Twitter at Surgoshan, Surgoshan, and check out my other podcast, Dungeons and Debacles, the D&D podcast hosted by my friend Kevin. Entirely different from this. A lot of fun. Heck of a lot of fun. We're playing an evil party. No, we're playing freedom fighters rescuing a mother wrongly imprisoned. Yes, that's what we're doing. All right. And with that, I guess we can go ahead and call it a day. Don't forget to take your meds, everyone. And
Take your meds.
fuck off.
Take a minute, Joe.